get over to Chicago, Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker recently held a press conference saying that they're not gonna work with the Trump administration to help them get rid of the illegal criminal migrants inside of their state and a city.
Happy to take any questions from members of the media. We got Chia in front here.
Governor, and I'm hoping Mayor Johnson and Emanuel can follow up. Mayor Johnson, Emanuel, and the governor, I'm wondering if you can talk about Donald Trump's attempts to dismantle DEI, given this setting that we're in, and what kind of effect, trickle-down effect it might have in state government or in the corporate world in Illinois.
Well, DEI is, this idea of, a corporate term that occurs in, the back rooms of big corporations, Wall Street and otherwise. The reality is that what they're trying to tear down is something much broader, and that's civil rights in the United States. That's what they're attacking. And the reality is, and I thought that former Mayor Emanuel said it correctly, the examples of the success of DEI are all around us in the city of Chicago, that we need to raise up businesses in communities that have been left out and left behind. There are examples all across the state of Illinois. Investments that need to be made in communities that are, frankly, underrepresented, underserved, and struggle. And yet we've been succeeding in Illinois, lifting up those businesses. But
lies, all lies. Businesses are leaving the state. Businesses are leaving Chicago. They are running out their base. And it's one of the reasons why they want an immigrant community, in order to shore up the numbers so that they can then get all of the grants, get all of the funding, get whatever it is. Like, for example, I'll give y'all an example of how they're trying to finesse y'all and why they're trying to prop up the state and prop up the city, because they've been leaving mass exodus inside of these blue cities. And so what happens is they use the immigrant community. That's why they want them in y'all schools. You say, well, I don't understand why they got to go in our schools and why we got to pay taxes for them. Because that's how they get their money from the federal government. That's how they get their money from the state. On count day, for example, you get so much per pupil, which allows for you to fund the school and all of its activities and everything like that. And so they're trying to prop up their numbers and use the immigrant community to do so, instead of being able to recruit a great population by having practical, common sense policies that allow for businesses and residents to thrive. Removing DEI is not an attack on civil rights. Civil rights was necessary at a time where Black people were being discriminated against. It's just like birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship was supposed to be for people that didn't ask to be here, but was basically a descendant of slaves. Now, you're talking to a person that's not even a blackity black, but I got to give you the history. That's what it was for. The civil rights movement were for people, Black people in particular, that came over into this country that was coming out of segregation and was being discriminated against, and they didn't have the same opportunities at that time. This is 2025. It's a different time. And on top of it, they've expanded civil rights to include different things that's not relevant to it. So now they've segmented it off to women, which then was able to include women of other colors. That's why they say people of color. They don't say African Americans. They don't say Black people. They say people of color. You can be Indian, you can be Asian, you can be a white woman as mixed with a Black woman. You could be anything that you want to be. And then it was expanded to include people that were of the LGBTQ community, which that should not even be included. Your personal lifestyle should not be included in whatever it is that you're getting hired for or your opportunities. But we use that and we've expanded it in order to hijack the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was already hijacked a long time ago. Affirmative action was already hijacked a long time ago. So if Black people in particular are complaining about it, you're complaining about something that you don't even benefit from because it doesn't go to you. I don't see Black men getting anything from the civil rights movement or affirmative action today. The movement was hijacked and taken advantage of, which is one of the reasons why feminism became so prominent inside of the United States of America. So when you sit there and you complain and you say, oh, they taking it away from us, first tell me how you benefited from it. You, personally. You know what you got? An attachment to the federal government and an incentivization for you to break up your home. And a breaking up of the family, which you then normalize. And now we got everybody saying, congratulations, I'm a single mother. You don't benefit from these legacy things that you don't even understand how they came into prominence in the first place. It's not for you. It's not even for you. It actually works against you. You supporting it actually hurts you, and you don't realize it. Why would J.B. Pritzker, a white, big billionaire as far as what his family is concerned, give a piss about what you think in civil rights? You are advocating against your own demise. Tell me, what has the NAACP done for you lately? Removing DEI actually helps you, and you don't realize it. A merit-based system. Okay, let me break it down from a C student's perspective so everybody understand it. What is the most common phrase that you hear from Black people as far as their lack of opportunities in spaces when they're actually qualified? Not for the people that's running in the Victim Olympics, for the people that's qualified. I had to work twice as hard in order to get the opportunities. I had to work twice as hard as the person that was next to me in order to get the opportunities that they had. Why do you think people say that? If it's a merit-based system, how would it not benefit you from working twice as hard? Because that means that you get more opportunities, not because of, but because you're not being prevented from. The opportunities is not limited to you from the person that's next to you just because they're white. The opportunities is limited from you from the person next to you because they keep saying Black girls that cold. Because they're looking for a Black woman that codes. And so if you get in there and she get in there, who do you think is going to get the position? Because if she better than you, then she should just beat you, right? She should be able to interview better than you, right? Right? I've personally found, can we be honest? Because see, I don't have to worry about what nobody thinks. Don't nobody pay me. I pay myself. I've personally found, and I've talked to a lot of them, I've went to these tech conferences, I've interacted with them, I've hired them, that most Black women, and when I say most, I'm talking about 98% of all Black women that I've seen, are not sufficient when it comes to their ability to be able to build an application or in their programming languages. They lack the skill set to be able to survive amongst their peers. I found that most women are like that. Y'all don't want to hear the truth. Y'all don't want to hear the truth. Y'all don't want to hear the truth. I have found that women in tech usually take other positions not related to actually being developers because they are not good enough for the positions. They then become everything else. Let me get back to the video. Y'all don't want to hear the truth. Y'all want me to sugarcoat it. Y'all want me to make y'all feel better. Don't worry about it. We'll get there.
But what the federal government is trying to do is attack what we've accomplished in Illinois and all across the United States. And we won't let them. I am not going to let them. And I'm unafraid to stand up for equity, which is what we're here celebrating today. Look at the success of the Will Group. Look at the success that's happening on the west side of Chicago.
Dean, you know it's the truth, Dean Murray. You know it.
Sorry, I saw Marianne. Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you guys are not great at other things. You just may not be as great or even as interested in it because you wouldn't have to incentivize them to do it if they was already going to do it. You wouldn't have to do it. You wouldn't have to incentivize them to do it. Very rarely do I see a woman that is a software engineer that is great at what she does. And I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm saying that very rarely do I see them. I don't see them in the classrooms. I don't see them in the interviews. I don't even see them going for those positions. They be in HR, chief diversity officer, some kind of program manager, middle manager, product owner, sales chief. They doing something else, but they not trying to be there in front of no computer learning Java, JavaScript, C Sharp, Python. They not doing that. They not even interested in. They don't want to talk about that. They trying to be a marketing officer. Real talk. I'm telling you the truth. They like zipping and zabbing and jibbing and jabbing and dressing good. Not trying to sit there with you talking about code, syntax language, hypertext markup language. They're not trying to sit there talking to you about CSS. Give me one woman in here right now that says that she want to talk about that with me. I'm telling you the truth. One woman in the chat. I'm gonna look in the chat while I'm playing this. I'm looking for you. Somebody in the chat, a woman that is actually a developer, a software engineer, talk to me. Let me know who you are.
Also elaborate, give us an update on what is going on with ICE and how you and the mayor perhaps are working on this together or not. Give us an update.
I don't have an update for you. The federal government has not communicated with the state of Illinois. That is an indication to all of you that it's all about chaos and confusion. It is not about accomplishing something. And I've said many times, violent criminals who are undocumented in this country should be deported. There is a federal law that allows that
Christina,
deportation.
give me a call. Give me a call, Christina. I want to talk to you. Christina says, hold on, let me find you. Christina, where you at, baby? Christina Beckford says she's a software engineer. Christina, you can call in. You ain't got to be on camera, none of that junk. Give me a call. I want to talk to you real quick. Let's talk.
But when we're talking about undocumented people who have been living law-abiding lives and raising families in the United States, we need comprehensive immigration reform. We need to give them an opportunity to stay in this country legally. That's clearly not something that Donald Trump believes in. And I will stand up for residents of the state of Illinois who are abiding by the law, who are holding down jobs, who are paying taxes. I mean, we should stand up for them. That is the right thing to do. But he's trying to tear things down.
Governor, what's the response to people who might say that Democrats are the one sowing chaos, confusion?
What's up, Chris?
Hi, Anton. I'm a
How do you
big fan
feel?
of your show. Well, friend, right? So, friend. Nice to
Yeah,
meet
you're a
you.
friend of the show. You're a friend of the show. How you feel, Chris?
I'm feeling fantastic. About to go outside, walk my dog real quick. Take a little break from my coding session. What's
Okay.
up?
How long have you been a developer?
I've been a developer since 2018.
So
I
you
was in
got
the
some you
army
got
and
a
I
little bit of
transitioned
skin.
over.
You got a little bit of skin in the
Yeah,
game. Okay. So let me ask
yeah,
you a question, Christina.
sure.
How did you get into it? And I'm not gonna
Um,
use you as an example, but I'm gonna ask you a question after this that substantiates my argument. How did you get into it?
Actually, so I learned how to code back when I was 16 years old. So I went to a pretty good high school and I joined a robotics club. Out of curiosity. I just wanted to learn about robots. And ever
Mm-hmm.
since I joined that robotics club, I learned how to code, learn how to program robots, and that's what kind of put me on that path to take programming classes from that point forward.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, so I learned from high school.
So you were genuinely interested in it, right?
Oh, yes, 1,000%. Yep,
You're a black girl, right?
yep,
Okay. Let me ask you a question. How
sure.
many of your peers and your girlfriends can relate to you?
Uh, one, and I have one, and she just became a software engineer this past year. But most of my career, it was just been me by myself. None of my friends could relate to me for over 7 years, 8 years. To look at me like I was crazy.
How does she get into it? Why is she interested in it? Your girlfriend.
She only got into it because she used to be a sales rep for many years, and then she worked for a company called Comcast. So Comcast came out with a program called Growth to Code. So she applied for the program, and then she got into the program, and because she wanted to make more money, it's the hype.
But she
So I'm telling
wasn't
you, I
just
guess
genuinely interested in it. She was incentivized by her company, Comcast, which is, well, Comcast owns a bunch of different stuff, but it's an internet based company, right?
right, right,
But she got
right.
incentivized by her company, and that's why she got into it, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, because I knew her for over 15 years, and no, no offense to my girl, but she was never really was into it, and I knew her since high school. She only got to it because of the money. To be honest with you, nothing wrong with it. I'm in it for the money too, but there's a difference.
Did you go to school for it? Like, did you go to college for it?
Yes,
You breaking up a little bit. I'm sorry, Christina.
computer as well.
So I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. You said what now, babe? Am I losing her? She walking outside, y'all, so I might be losing her a little bit. Am I right, David? Was I right though? David, was I right? Was I right, David? Was I accurate or no? Let me get Christina back up here. I'm sorry, I had lost you a little
Am I
bit.
good?
Yeah, yeah, you
Um,
good now. So you said you went to college for it, right?
yes, I did.
Okay. How many people, how many women that look like you were in your classes?
None. Most of them were Indians or were whites, and one Asian through my graduating class. It was just me.
Am I on it or am I on it, Christina?
No, you're on it. Truthfully, you're on it. You're on it. Now, I'm not saying there's no women in the field, but they'll last for a few years or a couple years, and they end up moving on. So, I actually enjoy what I do. That's why I stuck around as long as I did. But the ones that do come in, from a professional perspective, they stick on for a couple years and they leave or they go somewhere else.
Yep. And I will also tell you that your girlfriend that probably is going into it, she's not going to be as good in it because, as you know, you have to continue to work on your skill set. You got to continue to look at the change of technologies in the landscape. You got to continue to go into it. Like,
Yeah,
it's more than just, hey, I'm about to learn it. I'm about to go to
yeah,
school for it and get
it's
a good
tough.
job.
Yeah,
You
it's
got to
tough.
stay competitive. And and I'm not sure that your girlfriend is going to
Yep,
be as good in it because you have to actually love it and want to do it. As a matter of fact, you have to be into it even after the job is over for you to truly grow within that field.
yep, I agree. And and I mentor her as well. And I tell her all the time, during your off time, you're spending all your off time getting better. But we'll see if you take my advice. But yeah, I advise everybody that who gets into tech is that you got to continue to learn and grow, because that's how you stay viable in the market.
Yep.
Tech
You
stacks always
probably
change.
spend a lot of time on Stack Overflow, right?
Oh yeah, Stack Overflow and well, now I use GitHub Copilot
Yep.
for most of my coding now and just reference off of that. But yeah, it's a lot of studying over the years.
You got to live it. You got to truly love it. And that's why a lot of people you got
Yeah,
to genuinely want to do it and that's why I don't think that you see a lot of people in it. It's just not in them.
yeah, yeah. And I just wish that more Americans were a part of it. Cause it's cool that we have the Indians and outsource labor. But that'd be one of my concerns though is that eventually instead of having like
Well, Christina, I appreciate you for calling in, love. Thank you, my love.
yeah, of course, no problem.
Appreciate you. Am I off or was I off? Or was I on? Am I off or was I on? I'm telling you, the nature of people, it always prevails. The nature of people prevail 10 times out of 10. When they talk about this diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's a farce. It's a farce. It's not real. It's not, if you want it bad enough and if you're good at it, you will compete and you will be successful in it. You don't need no incentive program in order to do it. You will not need, when you get to the higher levels in life and whatever respective profession that you are in, you won't need a program to get you there. You will not need a program to get you there. They can't incentivize you enough to want to do it because it's just got to be in you. It can't be of you. I'm telling you, all of these diversity, equity, and inclusion programs is trash. It's just a waste of money and resources going into a bunch of stuff that's not going to manifest into anything other than people thinking that they can get a quick buck.
Fear mongering when talking about mass deportations that haven't even happened in Chicago, like we see potentially happen.
What are you talking about? They are literally threatening people all across the country. How can you say that we're overreacting somehow? We're not. They're the ones, I'm talking about Donald Trump and his administration, Tom Homan, people at the Department of Homeland Security. They're the ones that are threatening people, again, who are law-abiding, who are often the anchors of their communities, who are paying taxes in this country. They're the ones who are threatening people. We're just standing up for people who live in our state and in our city.
Governor.
Yeah.
So the amount of money you're spending here, and by the way, great. This is a great achievement by Mr. Davis. Great work here.
Yeah, it's really the achievement of the entrepreneurs that should be celebrated. Yeah.
But rather than spending that amount of money, or focusing here, the amount of money that you've spent on harboring illegals over the last 4 years and protecting them now, and after Mayor Johnson's email that just went out yesterday saying they're going to spend more money on protecting illegals at the expense of the American citizens, in particular the West Side and the South Side. You've got representatives here, you've got Bob Israel here. Why not invest that money there? And then the second question is...
No, sit down. I'm going to answer that question. Now, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. Let me answer. I'm going to answer your question. The money that we spend in the state of Illinois is about protecting the residents of the state of Illinois. That is what it is about. We will stand up for anybody who is standing up for the law. We follow the law in the state of Illinois. I'm very concerned that Donald Trump and the federal government is not going to be following the law. Indeed, they have proposed getting rid of birthright citizenship. For many families, imagine,
Again, you need to understand the history of where birthright citizenship came from in the first place to be able to speak to it. They speak broadly towards things because they know that you don't ask questions and you don't do research. You operate out of ignorance and you take their word for it. J.B. Pritzker has never been for the people. And as a matter of fact, he robbing the American dream from the people that are the residents and that are paying taxes inside of Illinois and Chicago. And that's why people are saying that they want to flip red.
My own family, many families that came to this country years ago, right, who have made successful lives over many years, that opportunity would be completely cut off. It's unconstitutional what they're suggesting.
It's
in
you come here legally, you ain't got to worry about it.
We protect birthright citizenship. We all ought to stand up for the Constitution. This president does not.
Why don't you collaborate with the drug larger, the Venezuelans? Why don't you collaborate with ICE with the drug larger, the Venezuelans?
Question over here. Thank you. We're going to protect the residents and the people of the city of Chicago. As a welcoming city, as a sanctuary state, our welcoming city ordinance, alongside of the complementary law of the Illinois Trust Act, is full demonstration of our commitment to protect the residents of this city. Any notion that...
I can't stand this dude.
Any notion that would use public spaces like churches and schools, these sanctities, these sanctuaries, as a way to create political divide is not only unconscionable, but it's reprehensible. And what we have done, we have given very clear instructions to our sister agencies in all of our city departments that they should and will and are expected to uphold our welcoming city ordinance. We are not going to interfere, but we certainly are not going to cooperate with that type of abhorrent behavior.
You're not going to cooperate with the president mandating that illegal migrants that are committing crimes inside of your city be removed. Why wouldn't they cooperate? Why are they not cooperating? I if somebody has Tom Homan said, listen, man, if they committing crimes in your city, let us help you get them up out of there. And we'll use federal resources. All we need you to do is point us in the right direction. Or if you arrest them, just let us come and pick them up from the jails and the prisons so that we can get them out of there. What the heck is going on in Chicago? Thank you, Jesus, that I'm not in Chicago. Thank you, God, that I'm not in Chicago. And yes, Jerry, you are right. Not cooperating is interfering.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your direct message to immigrants here in the city of Chicago during this time of very much uncertainty?
Yeah, he did steal my hookup. He stole it. He ain't got the AD on there though. He did steal my hookup. I agree with you. I need an American pen that go right here, and then we'll be set.
Yeah. I'm going to speak to our immigrant population as well as the entire city of Chicago. The city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, we are a welcoming city and we are a sanctuary city. We are a sanctuary and welcoming state.
Why? Why? Can somebody, anybody, help me to understand the why? I'm trying to understand the why. I'm genuinely trying to understand the why. I genuinely want to understand the why. What's the why, y'all? Somebody explain it to me. What's the why? Why? Why are they a sanctuary city? Why are they a welcoming state to people that's not supposed to be here illegally? How do we get away with this inside of the United States of America? And why do the voters think that this is okay over in Illinois and Chicago? Well, not the majority of Illinois, but certainly Chicago. Y'all, this is what makes me say that y'all deserve him.
That has not changed because of who won the election. And that's not going to change. What I can speak to in a far more broader way, that any of the measures that the president is looking to execute against working people in the city of Chicago,
This is so dumb.
we will defend our city. It's just that simple. We will defend their rights to have a high quality public education.
Jesus.
He is working to dismantle
Their rights? They don't have rights. They're not supposed to be here.
the Department of Education. We will defend our rights to protect our environment. He's a president who does not believe in environmental justice and climate change.
Jesus
We will
Christ.
defend our rights to continue to build more affordable homes. I will say this last thing. The president has...
Do y'all know that Chicago got a credit rating downgrade?
The level of power that other administrations wish they had. The House of Representatives, the United States Senate, the judicial branch of government. If he's serious about making America a place where every single individual can have an opportunity, then he should use his authority to work with the city of Chicago to build more affordable homes. He has the ability to help invest in building more economic opportunities like you're experiencing right here on the west side of the city of Chicago. We are going to defend the interests of working people, and we're very proud to do that. Thank you all very much.
Mayor Mohawk, ladies and gentlemen, you see his Mohawk? Mayor Mohawk, ladies and gentlemen, this is the person that represents, he's probably the leader of the Democratic Party at this point, but he's the person that represents you guys.